was abrupt.
Hello.
Yeah.
Damn, let me, hold
Let's
on.
get
I
right
gotta,
into it.
yeah.
Coming in
Yeah.
hot.
Coming in hot straight with the screen share. That is a mistake on my part. I will try to fix that real quick. But yeah, welcome everybody. Happy Friday.
Hey,
And,
how's everybody
and
doing?
what a Friday it is. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Wow.
already starting the talking over each other. This is going to be great. 4 people on
Yup.
stream at once.
What was that? Huh?
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 There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen here.
No.
This is
Yeah.
great. Welcome. It's Friday, and this is a special Friday because we're doing a little Brady Bunch impersonation here. We have a whole group of people ready to present because we're going to talk about a couple things. One is SketchUp 2026, and a major feature 2026, of course, is collaboration. So we figured we'll get the whole live crew together and collaborate.
Yeah.
It's
Whole
the
lot of
collaboration
collaborating.
station.
That's right.
Yep.
There's 4 of us now. Does anybody remember if we have anything to talk about or mention before we hop in?
No, but we're getting a nice, a hello in the comments. Hello, Justin, Donovan, Matt, and Aaron. We got some folks tuning in from Norway, from New York, and from Syria. Yeah, we like to start out our streams by seeing where everybody's tuning in from. As always, thank you for spending your Friday with us.
Yeah.
If it's the afternoon, I hope you have a nice cup of tea with you. If it's the evening, I hope you're getting ready for bed as soon as this is done. And if you're in Australia and it's 2 a.m., I'm really sorry.
Way to go,
Thank
though.
you for way to
committed.
You're
go.
more committed than any of us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, we'll probably just hop right into it then. We can give another recognition if more people hop on and say where they're from. But yeah, let's dive into SketchUp 2026. This is going to be a fun one. So this is 2026 that we're in right now. One of the big things, the thing that we're going to start with, sorry, 2 things we're going to start with. One is this amazing model that we've used as our hero model. This is stuff you'll see on the website, you'll see in emails, you'll see throughout the next year. We've been doing this every year for a while now where we create a new model for each release, and this is the most recent one. This was created by Justin. This Justin, the one up there, not... I've a couple times given a shout out to Justin and people go, yeah, I love his channel, SketchUp Essentials. He's awesome. I love Justin Geis also. But this one we're talking about is our Justin, who's our 3D modeler, who came up with this model. So we're going to actually have a chance to walk through this where he's going to kind of explain where inspiration came from for this, what he did with this model. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we go there, though, I want to talk about one feature right off the bat. That feature is collaboration. So if you notice, this toolbar in the upper right here is brand new. Just to walk through real quick, I got a little icon of me. I know it's tiny. We take our 1920 screen and shrink it down to a little even smaller to fit all of us over here on the side. It gets tiny, but it is honestly, it's a picture of me. And then we have a little icon here to hide cursors, an icon here for comments, and then we have a share button. And if I click the share button, boop, I get a little UI like this that pops up. And from here, I can send emails to people that I want to invite into my model. So this is not a collaborative modeling tool at this point. This is what we call collaborative viewing. So what I'm going to be able to do is invite the entire team. So that's everybody above me is going to get an invite, and they're right now just going to come on in to the model. I do have the ability, as everybody comes in, I can give them access to view the model, so they can go around anywhere they want, or I can confine them to scenes only. So all they can do is click through scenes, and they're limited there. So it's kind of nice because if you're bringing in somebody who knows how to move through SketchUp, knows how to orbit, knows how to pan, that kind of stuff, you can just kind of let them go around like as much as you want. If it's somebody who's never done it before, you want to kind of put training wheels on, you can put them in only scenes, and that's going to allow them to only click through the scenes at the top. So I did that. I went ahead and sent that out to the live crew here. So each of them are actually going to join the model right now, and we'll see what it looks like as they come in. So we see that Donovan just showed up. His little cursor's there in the teal, moving around. Oh, there's Matt, came down from above. with a blue cursor.
Oh no, I'm feeling left behind. It's loading. It's loading. I'm coming.
It does take a second, but it'll happen. You'll get there.
But yeah.
And
Oh,
there it is. See, I just had to transition you. And there is Justin coming in yellow. So as we do this collaboration thing, I have the ability to just move this model wherever I want. So I can orbit, I can zoom, I can do whatever I want. I can change scenes, jump into different spots in the scenes. I can do all of this. And while I do that, the viewers that I have with me are all free to do their own thing. So you can see their cursors moving around. If I want to, say I'm feeling insecure, like nobody's listening to me, if I come click on my own icon, then everybody gets pulled to my view. So if there's something really important, I really want to talk about these icons we threw on the side of the building. Hey guys, come here, check out what I'm looking at. And they get pulled right into the view. So they're looking at what I'm seeing right now. Likewise, I can do the opposite. I can see, okay, where's Justin at? Let's go see what Justin's looking at. And then
hey,
I can
I'm looking
actually
at those,
follow Justin's view.
That's right. I'm looking at these icons that you were telling me about. That's nice.
They're good, right?
They're
Isn't
decent,
this model
yeah.
amazing?
It is an amazing model. And we're going to spend some time really getting into it in just a second. We're going to talk a little bit more about collaboration, and then we'll get a tour by the creator.
Oh,
Ooh, the creator. You want to change your title at the bottom from Not Guys to the Creator?
The creator. I'm nervous to do any changes midstream, but
That's true. Yeah, don't touch
maybe.
it. So one of the things I can do, so we only have 3 people in here. You can invite more than that. I haven't gotten a solid answer what the upper limit is. We were actually toying around with the idea of throwing the invite out to anybody who joined the stream, but probably decided that pressure testing collaboration with 100+ viewers, I don't know. If it didn't go well, I don't know how we would recover from that. I don't know what the limit is, but I know I have heard like 12+ people. It can, as you imagine, everybody's moving their cursor around. That can get a little bit, beehive kind of thing happening. So I do have the ability to turn the cursors off. So you can see Donovan's moving around in the middle there. There's Matt below him. Justin is...
Yep.
There he is. So they're all buzzing around. If I want to, I can just click this. They're still moving around the model. That didn't change anything. It just took the cursor off the screen. So it literally just hid it from me. So they're still in there. They're still moving around. I just have them hidden. So right here, if I want to bring them back, I can bring them back like this. And the cool thing, like I said, we are in SketchUp right now, but all of my visibility, all of the stuff I want to do to show things is happening in here. So if I come in, I'm going to go, let's do some modeling right now. So they can actually watch me do this. I'm going to say, okay, here, come check out what I'm working on. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to make a bench. So I'm going to raise something up like this, maybe. Go like this.
This is so fun. We get to critique your design in real time.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, for us.
All right, and then I'm just gonna color it all with this concrete. Triple click, make that a group, and now I have that bench that I just made in there. And one of the coolest parts about collaboration is this last button, the one I haven't picked on yet. I'm gonna hit that. That is comments. So when a comment gets left, you can actually see the little icon that showed up on the bench, and I can see over here that Matt left a comment right here asking if this is in the way. Well, yeah, actually, if I care to look down the sidewalk, it's directly in the path. So not the ideal placement. So we can come into Matt's comment and go, good point. Or if I like this sort of thing better, I can just say, haha, where's my embarrassed smile?
Yeah, I think you should just add a smile that insinuates that you're gonna just toss that design feedback to the side.
That's right. Yeah.
Not doing it. This is my bench, and people are gonna trip on it.
As we click through here, you can see Justin upload a comment. There was just a comment. It was actually an image. So in these comments, you're not limited to just what you can express with words, but maybe 1,000 words via a single image.
That's right. I
So,
didn't want to type them all out, so I just threw an image in there.
That's right. I respect that. Respect that a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe what I'll do is I will take this set of trees right here and hide it. So we get this out of the way. Maybe we'll put it up here. It's like a waiting for the bus stop kind of thing. And let's modify the design a little bit. I'm gonna
Dangling in the street a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living life on the edge.
We'll scoot it back a
The
little
curb
bit.
edge.
My bus riders like to live dangerously. All right, so we're gonna go like this. We'll push this back a little bit, raise it up a little bit. I like that cutout underneath. That's kind of a cool feature.
Nice.
Like this.
Yeah, while you're modeling away here, Dakota on YouTube says one comment is I'm so relieved how much more stable SketchUp 2026 is. Whatever you did, don't break it. Happy Friday. Thanks, Dakota. Yeah, we really love how stable it feels. It's really nice, especially when you have people in the model at the same time. And this is no light model either. We're dealing with 120 megabytes of some high poly things. So yeah, it's really nice and stable.
That's awesome. I'm gonna steal this bush. Drop it right there. Scoot back.
Nice.
Yeah, I have been thoroughly enjoying how the changes recently, but under the hood stuff. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go into context and paste that in place so it's part of my new bench component right there. It has been nice. Not everybody has noticed this, but we've been able to handle bigger models with less issues. The file size has been growing because the PBRs are bigger than regular materials, but I personally haven't hit a whole lot of problems with bigger materials or bigger files, and I just think the performance has gotten better and better. This was one of the times we were concerned, having a bunch of people in here buzzing around too, but I have no lag whatsoever with moving around in 3D space, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to cut something off. If you're here early, I'm assuming you've been here before. I'm not using my 3D mouse, not because 3D mouse is not compatible with 2026, the same as every version. It does work, and I actually think the newest 3D Connection installer actually has 2026 in it. My problem is a computer problem. I had some issues with some writes and lost some software, including my driver for 3D Connection. So I'm still working on getting that back. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out unless anybody's going, why are you using Orbit? Gosh.
I know. It's so weird seeing you model like a normal person.
I know. I was about to say, this is how I model. Maybe that's why it looks so familiar. But
sorry, folks.
Sorry to hear about the technical difficulties. But speaking of technical, one question on YouTube. This might have been answered already, but can this collaborative viewing be used in conjunction with a Zoom meeting so I can also have audio with a client?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, the nice thing about this, the difference between this and just sharing your screen on a Zoom call is in here is this comments is a big part of it, right? Because everybody can come in and they can put comments in. So like this here, I like this. Great idea. And I can send that to him. And then what can happen then is I can't do it, but Justin can actually mark this as resolved. So here, once I moved it from here, Matt saw it, said, "Oh, good call. It's resolved." I get a little green check mark. It goes down here. Oh, and there goes Justin's. Resolve that as well. And now my next issue is Matt wants the coffee logo bigger.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's what that means. But yeah, so a couple things. So there's not. I don't know how many times. So, all right, hold on. I'm saying so too much. I got to back up. Rewind. Matt's probably right.
Yeah, big sip of coffee for all of us up here.
So one of the biggest things that I like about SketchUp is the community. I like the online community. I like the in-person community. I also like how SketchUp itself fosters community and connection. So one of the number one things that I love hearing stories about from our customers is I brought my customer in, we sat down at my table, I showed him the model, and we walked through it in SketchUp together. We even hear stories about, live changes to the model with the customer sitting right next to you. That's awesome. We love that. And this is an attempt to bring that into remote meeting. So sharing a model on Zoom or chat or Teams or whatever works really well, but you get stuff like, well, okay, see that one spot in the corner of the model off to that side? I don't know what that means. But right now, Justin goes, hey, look at what I'm looking at right now. And I can go, okay, let me see. In fact, we'll take everybody. Oh, here's where Justin is. He's out here. So
big old aerial view.
It's great because I get to jump to there. I get to go see what I can explore it just like they're here pointing to the screen with me. It's just a nicer way to do it. Yeah, the audio's not there. I can't imagine we're ever going to tackle trying to stream audio through SketchUp. But yeah, a phone call, a chat, an audio Zoom, whatever you want to do, that could couple right with this. You get everybody on the Zoom and then share out to everybody's email there. It's a great way to do it.
Yeah, and one thing that we'll show in a little bit that's nice versus just like, doing a Zoom call on your, like in a previous version, is if you have like two people presenting in the same model, then you can stay in the same screen share. You don't have to, stop screen share and then can you see my screen, kind of thing. You can just another person can take over. So that's a nice little benefit, a little more smooth communication and, presentation with your clients. One thing too is we're not showing the web viewer on this screen. Like this is Aaron's, SketchUp for desktop screen, but the PBR materials do also show up when you join the collaboration session from Chrome too. So all those nice, materials and environments and everything, the development team did a lot of work that translates over to the web experience too. So people can see the true materiality that you spent so much time putting into your model. So I wanted to mention that.
Well, and speaking of wonderful segues, if I did want to make somebody else a presenter, like say we wanted to walk through the creation process of this model, I could say, hey, Justin, can you take us through that real quick? I can click and make him the presenter. And now we are looking at Justin navigating through the scenes. Again, Justin's a viewer, so he can't go in and draw a bench like I did. So there's some limitations. But since we have these scenes here, he can click through the scenes. He can move the camera around. He can guide us through the model. He just can't create, which is a great way to put a presentation on rails or limit how we get in there if that's what you need to do. So
yeah,
with that though, for real, let's pass it over to Justin.
Hey, thanks for the smooth segue there. But yeah, that's absolutely right. Before this live stream, I went through this model and basically set up a series of scenes to give you guys essentially a monologue of how this building came together. And that's the same thing that you could do. You can like prep your model, give the people that you're inviting to your model, access to the scenes, and then they can go through the scenes at their own pace, or they can follow you along. It's a really great way to experience a model together. But yeah, so a little bit of backstory on this model. So what you're looking at here is a aerial that has been pulled from add location. It looks a little funky in an isometric view, but that's how I always like to start these things. But yeah, so one thing that we knew we wanted going into this model is something real. So usually I'm creating models, they're figments of my imagination. But for this one, we wanted to use add location, so it had to be real. So immediately I got to thinking, well, Aaron and I both live in the Denver area. Why not do something in Denver? It has the benefit of all of these streets being on perfect grids, so it would make modeling very friendly. I wouldn't have to deal with anything that was on a weird axis. And so, yeah, that was my first thought. With add location 2, you're able to import both 2D, I guess like a 2D aerial and 3D aerials, as well as 3D terrain. And so I immediately was like, okay, it's great that I have 3D terrain for this, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to use a flat 2D terrain because I'm trying to make this as easy as for myself as I can. So The other nice thing with ad location, I'm sure you guys have seen some of our YouTube videos, is this ability to import, 3D buildings to add context to your model. And this is really nice because, I mean, off the bat, you can see that we're dealing with some big buildings here. This is like right in downtown Denver. We got some skyscrapers here on our left. We got much lower buildings on our right, and where Aaron's cursor is here in the middle is kind of this. There's a bunch of parking lots in this area, but where his cursor is, there was this parking lot that I've actually parked in tons of times when I've been down in Denver, and I'm always frustrated parking here because it costs like $15 for the hour or whatever, and so I'm like, wow, I've had a personal vendetta against this parking lot for way too long.
So it was time to level that parking lot out of personal vendetta.
That's right.
Hey, real quick, there's a couple questions coming in that Colin is answering these questions in the chat, which is wonderful. But I do want to throw some of these out there because they're great questions. We did have the question is, do the viewers have to have SketchUp installed? And they don't. If you send this out to somebody, it will log them into the web viewer. So nobody has to have SketchUp in order to hop in and do this, including Justin, who is doing this. You're doing this right now through the web viewer, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the only person who's actually in SketchUp is me.
Yeah.
And then we have one other question about the comments. The comments do get saved with the model. So yeah. They are persistent. Good
Great
question. Sorry, Justin.
No worries. No worries. But yeah, so I mean, I guess so we have the ad location import. We got some 3D buildings. The first step for me was essentially to model some streets. And because this was all based on a grid, all I really had to do was just create like one component for the streets with the street lights, with the traffic lights, with the traffic lines. And so this, it looks complex. There's a lot going on here, but really this was just one component that was arrayed around. And then, based on the ad location import, I modeled out some of these parking lots that I don't have vendettas against yet, but will probably be reinvented in the future.
Give it time. Give it time.
But yeah, so just zooming in on our space here. We've got a nice big space. It's on a nice intersection right in downtown. There's a lot of foot traffic in this area. There's a lot of traffic. And so, the challenge here was to think, what could we turn this space into? It's a flat parking lot right now. So, anything other than a flat parking lot would maybe be an improvement. And so we thought, oh, why don't we create like a co-working space? And so again, here is the existing parking lot modeled out in SketchUp. And now I started to think about the size of the site and what's possible here. So we're looking at about 140 by 125 feet, so about 38 by 43 meters, which except for the 5 feet added onto the 120 feet, this breaks down really nicely into a 20-foot grid. So I thought, all right, well, within the space, why don't we grid everything out so that we're dealing with those 20-foot increments, just so that, as I'm starting to think about this building, everything can kind of, line up in a nice, smooth way. For just general inspiration, orbiting all the way off to the side here, there is another building in Denver that's only a couple miles away from this one called the Central Market. And this one is really, really nice because they've basically taken an old building that existed in the River North neighborhood and turned it into a place with bakeries and like a pizza place. And it's just really nice to sit in here. It feels like a very warm space to be in. And from an architectural standpoint, what I really liked about this is it's kind of like an older style. Everything is just kind of built on a grid. You have like a steel structure on the inside that's visible. Everything is, like I said, built on a grid. You have like window walls that are on the exterior. It's just kind of like a blocky, simple design. And I wanted to take that a little bit further, but kind of use this as like the basis for like the type of building that I've wanted to create. Little bit of a diagram here. So back in my architectural school days, I was a big fan of angled roofs. because I mean, with Denver, you have. I'm just going to pop back to the site here quickly. With Denver, so I mean, this building would basically be facing so north is up, south is down, and then you got west and east. And to the east, you have these big, big buildings, huge skyscrapers that are, going to block a lot of that morning light. And then, on the right, it's much shorter buildings. And so when I thought about how I wanted some like roofing to exist in this building, I really wanted to lean into this idea of like having angled roofs so that the morning sun can come in, the like midday harsh sun, which is the orange arrows here, it's kind of blocked out because believe it or not, it does get pretty hot in the middle of summer in Denver. And then those nice sunset views from the west would come in also through those angles. And then again, everything is just kind of gridded out. So I was thinking that maybe like 2/3 of the building, so 80 feet here would be like the primary core of the building. And then you'd have another 40 feet on the side here to have like an outdoor space where people can exist.
I just want to pop in real quick. We had a question from Randy this is from Ahmad about what tools are available to collaborators other than Orbit and Zoom. So you have Select, which I think a cool thing about Select is you can enter the model hierarchy. Like you could go into a group or component and drill down to specific parts. So if you wanted to leave a comment on a specific piece, you could do that. Also tape measure, zoom extents, position camera, look around. And you can also look at the model organization with scenes, of course, but then also entity info, tags, and model info, shadows. All this information is stuff you can see in there as well. So yeah, a bunch of different ways to look at the model, especially if somebody is familiar with using SketchUp.
Yeah, that's right. You can even change the field of view if you're in perspective. You can change the view style. Yeah. So like Matt said, nothing modeling yet, but all of the things that you would want if you were coming into a model and you wanted to critique the model or see how things measure up or add comments, the important things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's the that kind of the diagrammed elevation that I was showing you guys, kind of like extruded out into like a simple massing model. And I don't mean to be to turn this into one of those things where it's just like, here, step 1, draw a circle, step 2, draw a triangle, and step 3, here's the completed line. But I mean, what really went down from here is just weeks and weeks of modeling that I'm trying to distill. But basically you have like a little bit of a column layout. There's a bunch of different types of columns happening here, but you got column layout, you got walls that came in, some planter boxes on the outside, you have windows that came in. It didn't happen in this order, but that's just showing you some of the parts. But one thing that I think is cool about this model, so we had this nice indoor space, and as soon as I saw the space, I was like, well, I really want to like maximize the amount of light that's coming into the space, because again, you got these like big skyscrapers, and I want to make sure that when we do get light, that it's nice and bright in here. So I wanted to basically cut a big old opening into the ceiling to make the space just feel like really nice and big. And so I settled on this like kind of circular oval racetrack shape, and went through the process of designing a staircase. I love like a nice statement piece staircase, and this was before I learned that there are extensions that can make this easy, like True Bend. And I probably spent an entire day just making this staircase. So this was
I think that's like an
school.
atypical SketchUp experience of spending hours doing something that you find out later. Oh, there was an extension for that.
Yep, totally. So yeah, we got a nice staircase here, and then again, not to just jump around, but then you've got rafters that came in. Everything was built as a component, so like if I want to like hop in, it's pretty easy for me to when I'm modeling to make changes to the textures of things or to the size of things. And yeah, and then lastly, throw a roof on it. The nice thing about these sloped roofs too is that the water pools towards the center, and so like you could imagine that like drainage from the roof would like go down into the planter beds. I'm trying to make a difference here.
Be green.
Trying to be green. That's
That's
right.
right.
And then yeah, came time once the architecture was done, kind of came time to decorating this for the marketing graphics. And again, the intent with this model was to collaborate and to have people in here. So I didn't want to just pull a bunch of models, make this a really heavy, clunky experience. So everything is just simple components repeated throughout, like 2D face me's for the vegetation, and yeah, we got a couple views here of the patio. We have a view as we fly through of the interior, again with that open space in the ceiling. We've got the most important thing out of any co-working space, which is a nice coffee bar. Got an upstairs view with more areas where people can work. Nice close-up of that coffee bar, and nice little view of this back room here, which is the perfect segue for Aaron to talk about diffusion.
That's right. That's awesome. Thank you, Justin. I love we've done release models lots of different ways, but lately, like I said, the last several versions trying to build a purpose-built file for showing this kind of stuff off, and it's amazing the fact that we can go in and, Justin not only is conscious of doing a great realistic architectural model, but intentionally in there to show some of the features of what we are doing. So for, like you said, nice open places where it's easy to explore with collaboration, spots that are good to use on diffusion. It's almost like we intended it this way. But thank you, Justin. I mean, again, I've said this before, great job. This is an awesome model. Love working in it. So there you go. If you guys have more questions, of course, you can throw them out in the comments. I apologize if we have comments we haven't covered.
Well, speaking of questions, Carmine says, when an invitee signs in to view a model, is this some sort of intro screen to help them find their way around the interface?
I don't know. I've never signed in before. What do you guys think?
No, I don't think there's any like kind of onboarding thing. I feel like if you were going to send somebody full model access, you'd either want to walk through with them with that before, or share it with people who already have SketchUp experience. If somebody is not comfortable navigating in 3D, I would say give them scene only access. That way they don't get stuck or anything, and they can just flip around to the relevant views. So that's what I would suggest for people who are not comfortable in 3D. And then also
with that, remember, you can always pull them back to your view. So if they do have scenes only and they're flipping through stuff, I can just click this button and now everybody's back here with me. So that's nice to have. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. I guess you could just, give them full access and then just wrangle them back if they get too out of their comfort zone. Also, we had a question about, can the image that was shared in the comment be downloaded? And yes, when you go to the comment, you can full screen the image, and then you have the option to download it as well for the reference image, at least in the viewer. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that.
It's really big. Hold on, let me shrink that window down a little bit.
High res, massive. So the comment was about using it for reference modeling. So yeah, you can definitely use that for reference. All the details are in there because that is one big file.
Yeah.
And then Ahmad is saying, will the invitee be disconnected after closing SketchUp, or can they continue to explore the model?
No, if I close down the model, it ends the session.
Gotcha. So you're kind of running the collaboration session and you choose when to shut it down.
Right. Yeah, and I do have the ability to disconnect individuals as well. So I can actually come in here and I can... The reason I'm not pulling up the list is what it shows in the list is everybody's email address. I didn't want to expose everybody and make them use give their email address out to everybody. So all it is a list of who's in there by their email address, and you can pick anyone and kick them out too. So you do have control over the session. You're in charge.
Chris is asking, can we download this model?
If it's not on 3D Warehouse yet, it will be. Is
That's
it?
right. No, not yet, but it will be. We didn't want to get too excited. SketchUp 2026, which is another question from Randy, just came out this week. And so I didn't want to hop the gun and, leak all the good stuff. So
That's right. As of now, we're officially launched everywhere for everyone. So yeah, we'll get this up on 3D Warehouse.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
if you want to
let's take
update,
a look.
you can go. Sorry, just real quick before you go, move on. Is you can go. Where is it at in Mac to check for updates? Is it under Help? Or maybe it's File, SketchUp, maybe. But anyways, it's different on Mac and Windows. But if you go for check for update, if you currently have SketchUp installed, you can get the update there, or you can download it on SketchUp.com as well. So places to get the new version. And without further ado, let's continue moving on with the demonstration portion of the stream.
Absolutely. I bet somebody could grab the download all link and throw that in comments too. All right, so I'm going to hit on the diffusion icon. This is added. This is my default toolbar right here, and there's a little space, and I just turned the diffusion. I don't like the little floating toolbars. I kept losing it, I'll be honest. And this is going to bring up the diffusion window, or the AI rendering window. So this is a little different from what we saw before. If you guys remember what the old one looked like, this is a little bit of a different user interface. If you have been part of the SketchUp Labs, private or public, you've probably already seen this and played with it. But I do want to just show you guys what this is like. This is available right now through Extension Warehouse, and I'm just going to run you through it real quick. We're not gonna beat this to death. I just want to kind of give you guys a view of the update. There's a couple things that are new in Diffusion 2.0. One is this auto prompt. So what happens when you first bring a model into the new Diffusion? It will generate a prompt automatically based on what it's seeing. So we're not like other AI things where we go in with nothing and say, give me this, and this, and more detail we got to put in. What AI can do is look at what our model currently exists of, and then come up with a prompt for diffusion that feeds it what it believes it is. So in here, modern office with hexagonal plant wall and white pod phone booths, it's kind of describing what this image is. So when I get a render, it's going to be closer to like a render as opposed to an AI dreamed up image. So I'm going to not do anything else. I'm just going to leave this on here. I'm not going to add any negative prompts or anything like that. I'm just going to say generate and let that run. This is really nice because I don't know if you've ever been in where you're like, all I really want is more realistic lighting. I want it to stay exactly, I modeled what I want. I just want to see better light. I mean, for me, when I go into rendering, that's kind of it. Like I put the things in my model that I already want in my model. They're already there. I don't need it to go through and add stuff. I just want it to look better. So that's what that auto prompt does. It says, make the scene what it is, and now just make it look better.
Yeah, just better. It's also really nice for, when you're coming up with ideas in a space, or if you want to see, like what like more realistic lighting looks like in an interior space or even an exterior, or you're just looking for ideas of like how you want to decorate a space. It's really nice to just like quickly be able to have a couple options, be like, I like this, I don't like this. Oh, this is a great idea, and just go from there.
All right, so I got 3 options over here. I got this gallery, whoops, which I just minimized. So here's my first one. Looks very good, very white, very clean. We go a little more shadow in this one, and this one we got a little more color, a little more. Well, I guess they're both colorful, just a little bit different lights. So this one I got a real big overhead light. You can see I have some lighting up here, much more than here's lit more down below. But yeah, so this is just like the previous version. It'll give you 3 different options. And from these 3 options, we can start to fine tune. So one of the big parts of this is these 3 buttons right here, where I have an erase, a regenerate, and a generate new item options. So we're gonna do this real quick. Let's run through here. So one of the things that got kind of weird is this person over here, which it decided was a man. Well, it looks like a man. I shouldn't say that. It's wearing, I don't know. They're facing away. I should not assume anything. But this person that got put in is looking into the booth. which feels weird to me, right? Like I kind of feel like this is intended to aim towards me. So what I can do is I can take this regenerate and I can come in here and go, okay, oops, there we go. Regenerate, and I want to grab this, just kind of highlight around this person and say, okay, we're going to take this person right here and I'm going to tell them what I want in this space. So this works really well for recreating a section of the render. I say render, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So in this case, I'm going to say person in black clothes leaning against the wall facing toward the camera. And I'm going to hit enter. And what that's going to do is only take that section that's highlighted. Everything else is going to stay the same. So one of the issues we heard and experienced ourselves, anytime I say you guys said something, we probably did it too. But we had with previous issues or previous versions is if I want to regenerate just part of the model, I can't do that. So I like everything in here except for this one piece. Well, too bad. Every time I hit render, it's going to redo the whole thing. So this allows me to say, I just need this one little section regenerated, and I can ask for that. So there we go. Now we got 3 new options with this person facing forward rather than backwards. Oh, he's too emotional. I don't like that. I'm going to go with this first one. I like that. All right, so let's keep going through here real quick. Let's talk about erase. Erase, this is super simple. You don't even have to prompt here. You just, what do I want to get rid of? I do have the ability with erase to use a brush or lasso. Actually, all these tools, I have that ability. So I can come in here and I can say, okay, grab this wall. I thought it was going to be cool, but it actually takes away from the nice clean white look. We're going to get rid of that and then hit generate. Again, same thing, but what it's going to do is go in with basically an automatic prompt that says stuff that's inside of here, get rid of what's here and replace it with whatever the background would be. So something like this is very simple. It's going to look up there and it's going to go, well, that white wall probably carries through. It's still going to give me 3 options, which kind of gets interesting with something like this because a lot of times those 3 options with erase are very, very close to being the same thing. So we'll see what that looks like. We'll see. Yeah. We'll play spot the difference. Oh, that's unusual. So
yeah, your mileage may vary, but hey, these are nice alternative content. I like the wood block up there.
I do like nice. That big wood block.
Big butcher block.
That's right. Yeah. Ahmad said this is a very useful tool, especially for someone who is not good at rendering. Me, for example.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah, I love having these tools in SketchUp too, because like before, you might have gotten the perfect thing, but yeah, one little thing was off, and then you had to like download it and open it in Photoshop or some other AI editing thing. But now having it in here is just a lot easier for the iteration. Awesome. That kind of is inherent with AI, getting it to do the thing that you want it to do. So
fine tune,
and it's come a long way with the diffusion rendering, and it's only going to get better. What you see now is the worst it'll ever be.
Oh, that's deep.
I love the auto prompt too, because it's like, you know, people when AI first started coming out, people were talking about like, you know, prompt engineering, and it's so important that you get the perfect prompt. And it's like, well, dude, I can just get AI to write me the prompt that they know is good. Yeah. Like, why do I have to do that? Isn't that what I'm supposed to use AI for? So now it just automatically does it, and it's like,
but that's so true, right? That's what people were doing. Use AI to write an AI prompt for AI. We just saved a step. Define this image to me and then feed it back to yourself, please. All right, so the third thing on here is generate an item. So I'm just going to run this real quick. This is the last thing I want to show in here. When I have this turned on, I can come in here, and basically what I do is I draw a shape. So I'm going to come down here and say, okay, I want like an ottoman sitting right here. And I'm just going to do that. I'm going to say red ottoman. Let's say puffy.
Ooh, puffy.
Red ottoman. It's puffy. And generate. All right, sorry. Go ahead and keep talking, guys. I wanted to get this started, and then
I was going to say that's a beautiful ottoman drawing right there. You don't even need the 3D mouse. The 2D, you do it well enough, just sketching stuff out. We had a question. What do we get in SketchUp 2030? Hey, what do you want to see in SketchUp 2030? Let us know on the forum.
Yeah, on the forum.
It's a great place to leave feedback for the development team, certainly. They
Who
also
actually
years of
read the
development.
forum. This isn't this person talks to this person who talks to this person who might know somebody on the development team. No, it's actually the development team that is reading feedback and suggestions of our users. It's one of the many reasons why we have such a great community here at SketchUp.
right.
Is we listen to the users.
That's right. So just real quick, here's my options. Ooh. Bet you guys didn't expect a little rug there. Ooh, look at that.
Hey,
That's where
puffy.
the fluffy comes from.
That's fair. I was gonna say this one's nice. It's a little small, but this was kind of what I had envisioned. But this is the idea generation from AI, right? Who was expecting this fur throw?
Yeah, with a book on it. What a
Extra
great area to
cozy.
read.
It's leveling up in ways I wasn't even expecting. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that. I'm going to create a scene from it. I'm going to hit create scene.
Cool.
And there we go. Exit out of the diffusion, and there we go. It made a overlay of what we had just generated in there and put it over the existing model. All right, we're gonna keep running through with a couple more things. I want to leave more. You guys keep throwing questions out too as we go. I want to make sure we get your questions answered. We don't just go down the list of things we want to show. I'm just going to keep going down the list of things we want to show until you guys drive us somewhere else. But yeah, if you have specific questions about features, if you have, can I get this feature in 2020? No, we can't change released software. Once it's out the door, it's out the door. So if you want new software, you get the new version.
Makes sense.
There's not really retroactive features.
Ooh, this is a good question that might be a segue for later. Is it possible to specify a color, say like a Pantone or index number, to a prompt for something like that ottoman? I'm making sure I'm reading it right.
Yeah, you could definitely try it.
I'll say this. Diffusion is on Extension Warehouse. So anytime people ask questions, can you do this? Can you do this? We'll do this. What will it do? I do this. Go do it and find out.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to blow things off, but yeah, give it a run. I mean, fact is, I would type a Pantone number in and look at it and go, looks good to me.
Yeah, what Pantone is that? Yeah, totally.
All right. So one of the things I want to show you guys, because if you've been watching these live streams or my videos, you'll know how much I enjoyed the inclusion of ambient occlusion. I just think it's the best thing that's come out in SketchUp visualization for a while. It adds a pop and a level of depth to models, especially ones like this where it's all a single texture or single material. That shadow, so I'll turn it on and off, of ambient occlusion goes from this to this, and I just love that depth. I love how that looks. Now, one of the issues with ambient occlusion is in fact created intentionally to be realistic. So it was hard-coded at a realistic 1:0 scale. So if I look at this, ambient occlusion is currently on, and it is rendering through any place two surfaces meet. It's putting that little bounce shadow between the two pieces. It's there. Problem is that an ambient occlusion, like if you look up at the corner of your house or of your room, ambient occlusion shadow is about maybe an inch big, less than that. You can see up there. So when I come out to like a city level like this, I don't see it. It's there. I can play with intensity and maybe get it to flicker a little bit or distance, but you can see even with distance cranked, it's only coming out maybe a foot there, so just a teeny bit. So one of the things that was added was this size multiplier. So with the size multiplier, I can actually say bring that up, so it's not a realistic ambient occlusion shadow anymore, but it is visible on a larger scale. So in here, maybe I'll back some of this intensity down a little bit and just bring my multiplier up so I can get bigger shadows like that. Again, like I said, not a realistic rendering feature, but for something like this, it's great. Also, the other thing is really small models, right? So if I'm modeling a watch face or something like that and still want to get that bounce so it lifts the materials up off of each other, I could scale my ambient occlusion down below 1. See, it goes all the way down here to 0.1. So I can make it much smaller so it shows up in that little teeny model. Because again, with it being 1 scale, if I did model something like a watch face to scale, 1 ambient occlusion is going to go across my entire model. So one shadow is going to fill the whole thing. So a very, very cool option. And if that wasn't enough, we got another little thing down here, which is AO color. So I'm going to crank this up a little bit more, and I'm going to click on this color icon.
One of those moments of, but wait, there's more.
That's right. So I'm going to pull this up. Sorry, my colors wheel is, there we go. Whoa. I lost it again. There we go. Over here we go. So I'm going to pull this up, and with this we have the ability to actually set the color that we want to use. So there's a couple ways you can use this, right? So one is, do I want to go black as dark as I can get, or I could take that black slider and bring it up until I have a nice neutral gray color. So not even intensity or multiplier there, but just making the color lighter gives me much more option for how I want these to work. So I do like, like I said, that shadow that's showing up as opposed to this, but maybe this is too harsh. An intensity I can't dial in right. I could use a lighter gray. Or this is the one I like this, is I can take that gray and I can slide it to a little bit warmer. So I come up towards the red here, still in the gray, but you see I have a nice warm shadow there, versus if I come the other direction down towards the blue, I can get a much cooler shadow. So I can actually control that very fine-tuned to influence how is this supposed to feel. So if I'm looking at a very clean room, like a white kitchen with subway tile and that sort of thing, I might grab it and drag it a little bit towards the blue just to get that cool feeling. If I'm doing something very warm, like a living room with a fireplace and a comfy couch, I might grab my ambient occlusion and go from just straight gray to maybe a little bit warmer gray. Really cool way to fine tune. The other option, though, we do have the option, is just going nuts with it. Like if I want to just have a yellow glow coming up from underneath things, or red or pink or anything in here. There's no rules right now. So what did you call this? Fast and Furious lighting?
Yeah,
so,
with the underglow under the cars.
That's right. My undercarriage neon there is going up. So if you are doing something specific, if I'm going for like what did I say for like a cyberpunk street thing where the glow's coming up from below, I could do something like that. This is where I could get very imaginative and figure how do I want this to look? How do I want to add those things? This is one of the spots where I'm like, I can't wait to see what people do, what you guys do with it. I'm excited to see, like, how do you leverage this and make it something cool and new?
Yeah, and I don't know about the highlighter yellow here, but I just want to chime in and say that, back in the architectural world, I used to, use separate rendering programs to create clay renders and then overlay the line work from SketchUp on top of that. And it's so nice that this is just like native in SketchUp now. And it's also really fast when you orbit around the model. It's super quick. And so I know, Aaron, you do this on your live stream sometimes, but it's really nice sometimes to have the ambient occlusion on while you're modeling, because pretty quickly if that table that you added to the scene is actually sitting on the ground or whether it's floating. It's a good way to like understand the depth of your model and just to make sure that everything is in its right place.
Absolutely. I should have done this earlier, but if I turn my lines off, then I really have the ability to come in and fine tune this shadow going on like this.
Yeah,
super cool way to visualize. It's beautiful, and it just takes that tool of ambient occlusion, takes it to the next level where it's still ambient occlusion, but with that scale multiplier, it's even more. I probably talked about this too much, but like I said, you guys know how much I like ambient occlusion. It's probably my favorite thing that's been added in past few releases.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looks cool turning the edges and profiles off. I didn't think to do that. Nice. So, hey, I'm gaining some new creative inspiration from this stream.
Let's see it. Let's get it.
That's cool. Also, one quick sec before, this is kind of not related to what we're doing, but just before we get too far away from it, Nancy asked earlier, can you undo the changes back to the original model? I think this was in relation to SketchUp Diffusion. And yes, there's a reset button to reset your viewport to match your SketchUp viewport. So you don't have to keep iterating off the same image. You can go back to your SketchUp model just by hitting that reset. Looks like a little arrow going in a circle in the bottom right.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say, for example, like right now, I like this enough that I want to update it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and update that scene. So now when I go back and forth, here's my diffusion scene. When I come back here, it comes back like this. I do that, and then Justin goes, "No, make a new scene. There's a reason that was supposed to be that way. That was intentional. That was by design." And I'm like, "Oops."
Yeah.
Or if you do something dumb like, "Oh, okay, I don't need this scene anymore," and I delete it, and I go, "Wait, no, I do need that scene." Anybody who's done that before knows that there's that moment of just ice water that runs right down the spine. Fortunately, not an issue anymore, because I can now come up here and I can do undo update scene, and then that will then take me back to that original scene that I had set up. Same thing with deleting. If I come in here and say, okay, delete the scene, AO, see, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Nothing's there. It's not there. Oh, but what can I do? I could go to edit. I could say undo remove scene. It'll add it back in. It will add it to the end of the list. So it's right down here at the end now, where it was a few from the end before, but it does bring it right back. So undo, redo works exactly like it does with modeling tools, with editing tools, with your scene edits as well. This is a big one for me because I'm sure I've done it on live streams before too. I don't tend to delete scenes. I tend to update the wrong scene. So I'll go into one scene and then I'll kind of pan around to a different spot and start making changes, thinking it's the previous scene, and then it's all a mess. So
Ahmad says, ambient occlusion's neon effect. It would be interesting if AO color is context aware.
Oh,
Could be
like
configured per group / component.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
maybe.
Yeah, Mod, I'll let you go through this model and assign ambient occlusion to each component.
This house is blue. This house is green.
Yeah, that's a job for AI.
There you go. Shake these up.
But yeah, I agree. That would be cool to have.
That would be very cool.
Out of control for sure.
All right, I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then I'm going to hand the ball over to Matt. Matt's going to show you some Windows exclusive changes that have been made. So one thing I want to look at is live components. You guys have seen us use live components in the past, and live components have gotten some love. So I can make some changes. The big thing with live components, I do still have the ability to, how many new live components plus? What are we calling them?
Sizable live components?
Sizable. So what I can do is I can come in here and I can scale this model, and it'll get me these handles only in the direction that this is scalable. And it will actually, if you watch the wall height right here as I do this, and bring this down, release it, it figures what the height I just set it to, and then it redraws it. So this is super nice. This is a weird example to give right here, but let me make some changes to a couple things here. All the rest of it's changeable too. So if I want to change the plant types, I can. I don't know what that is. Oh, let's make it a monster. Monstera. All these other changes I can make, and it's going to regenerate. Super cool. But then also on top of that, having the ability to drag and drag to size. This is nice, especially for things not like this wall so much, but more for doors and windows. So for example, I have this live component window down here. Let's go ahead and select it. I'm going to double click on it. It's actually in a couple components. There we go. Now I can click on it. It brings me the information here. So before, I could do things like this and slide it a little bit and try to get it right, but it was painful to do. So with scale, this is super nice because I can just say, okay, bring that up till it snaps right there. All right, let's go horizontally now. Till it snaps to that wall.
Being able to snap to inference points is so helpful in something like this, versus just like guessing and, being off by a couple, inches or whatever. It's really nice, especially if you're adding windows into things or into door frames. Yeah, it's handy.
Yeah.
And we should say too that the live components have to be authored to be sizable. So not all available live components are sizable at this time, but definitely keep an eye on the SketchUp content library in 3D Warehouse, because that will have updates and all the information about sizable live components that you need right in there. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, certainly.
Yeah, had I had these this window live component from the beginning, starting this model, I think we would have taken a drastic different direction with the windows because I can't tell you how much time I spent modeling the windows. So this will be nice for future models.
So keep an eye out for that 2027 model because Justin's going to go
Yeah,
window crazy. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to have windows.
all windows.
All right, so one other thing, I'm just going to touch on this briefly. We've done videos on this, but I did want to touch on, in case anybody here hasn't seen it, I'm just going to start a brand new model for this. And I want to show you just real quick walk through add location because a lot of changes have happened. One of the things Justin mentioned already was those context buildings. It can bring in those masses fairly quickly, automatically. We'll just go Denver, Colorado. So a couple things have changed. One is there's multiple different steps you go through to do this location. So first thing is, do I want to come in and put an address in, or do I want to put in longitude and latitude to put that in? It gets me about where I want to be. And from here, I can just kind of scan around. I can move. Where do I want to drop this for my initial import? I can change my map type. Do I want to see, the representative map or the satellite image? And do I want to see my model? If you have a model already started, this shows up as a little shadowed version of your model right on the import. Once I have about where I want, I can say set geolocation, and that's going to pull us in here. And I'm not really sure what this second one is for, but now I've actually placed my model. So my whole model, not this image, but this whole model is now placed with a location. So it has a spot that it knows it is. I can see this little icon in the lower left indicates that this is a geolocated model now. Next step is going to be add context. So if I ever want to get rid of it, I can always come back in here and say clear geolocation, and it'll get rid of that information, which is nice. That's a simple way to do it. I think you used to have to go through like model info before or something.
Yeah.
Did I offend Matt?
Yep, he left.
All right. I guess I'll keep talking since he's the one who's getting the ball next. And then, of course, I can add context. This will look familiar. This is very similar to how it used to work. When I come in here to add location, like Justin just mentioned, I can bring in a flat site, which will just be the imagery, or I can say bring in an elevated site, which will bring in a 3D contour. With something like a city block, you're probably not going to get a lot of contour. I mean, in general, places like this are fairly flat. If you are doing something where you got hills and neighborhood and mountain retreat, something where I have more geometry, then that elevated site makes a little more sense. I'm going to turn it off for this particular one. Then I can say bring in map texture, which is going to bring in, whatever is inside this rectangle. When I say import, it's going to create that image on a flat surface and bring it in. The other two things I have here, train mesh is turned off because I don't have elevated site turned on. So I turn that on. We do one or the other. Building footprints. Building footprints are going to be basically pads, like a building sits here. 3D buildings, on the other hand, is going to bring in what we saw in Justin's model, where it's going to actually bring in some of those buildings, footprints or 3D volumes of them. So there's a couple different things that happen here. I just want to point this out real quick. So if I look at some of these, see how I just have these rectangles? What these will likely be is traces of what is seen in the satellite image that's pulled up to, I think, 10 feet, something like that. If I look through here, some of these buildings are going to have more detail. So if I go, if I grab some of this stuff, not all of it, we'll bring it over here. This will actually bring in more detail. I can see in here I have some details of stuff on the roof, and I have these different breaks for different heights of the different sections of the top of the building. If I import that, then I'll get a little bit more detail in those imported context buildings.
Yeah, that is nice. One thing I also want to call out is that you can basically change what your definition of north is, or not change it, but you can reorient the axes. So like when your buildings come in, they're all aligned to each other, which makes modeling, like I did in my case, much easier because everything is kind of in a straight line.
That's very nice.
Yeah, totally. And the detail of the buildings depends. So all the 3D building information comes in from OpenStreetMaps. So depending on where your site is located in the world, there might be more or less detail. Typically, urban areas will have more information filled out, but OpenStreetMaps is like open interface. So you can always work through that to add more information if you're, more of the giving type, I suppose. But yeah, that's the data source for these buildings is OpenStreetMaps.
A feature I really like is I have the ability to import more right now. So in previous versions, you would import and it would immediately return you back to SketchUp. So if you wanted to go grab some more, oops, I actually need some more buildings here, or I also want to get this other island of information over here, you'd have to go do a separate import. Sometimes they would overlap or not connect, that kind of thing. In this case, import more lets me go right in and say, okay, let's add another section. Let's grab this piece over here. And I can actually just continue grabbing and they'll all connect together. It's a little thing, it's a quality of life thing, but it makes it much easier to import geometry. So when I get done there, you'll see that one of the things I did a cardinal sin of add location, and that was I ended up grabbing geometry far away from where my actual point in the model was because I was moved over to this other section. But I could go back and fix that by adding location again and re-geolocating. But you can see so we're not looking at like photorealistic buildings or anything, but you can see there's more detail than what I would see if I just imported, like if I go to the town that I live in and import, it's just going to be a bunch of 10-foot shapes because there's no imported geometric information because nobody's modeled the houses in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I mean, the nice thing about having these buildings too is like if you're building something in this area, you can turn on shadows and just, browse through the time and the date settings and understand how at any point in the day or in the year shadows will fall or not fall on your design. And so you can kind of use that to inform where you take your architecture.
That's right. So if I'm in this hateful, stupid, Justin wants to blow it up parking lot, I can see it's so dark all the time that who would care about it anyhow? So yeah. Yeah, very, very, very cool. Like I said, I apologize. I know we've done a video on it before, but if you haven't seen it, it's just feels like a big leap has happened in add location now as far as the stuff you can import.
For sure.
All right.
Max Trinomia made a comment saying aerial photogrammetry site import would be nice for background context when rendering. Flyover and Apple have great data sets, but it's closed source.
Yeah, we do work with the imagery that's available to us that we're allowed to use. We don't use anything that has explicit, you can't use this anymore, which is why we can't use Google Maps anymore. Because they did change their usage requirements and took that away. So we work with what we got. Should we pass this over to Matt? Matt, you want to show us what's new in the Windows interface in particular?
Let's give it a shot.
Let's do
I
it.
can't see what's going on when I'm sharing my screen, so let me know when you got me up, and then I'll take her on.
You are good to go.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. I'm not normally on a Windows computer, but today I am. So if I fumble around, hey, give me some grace, guys. But no, I'm psyched to show the Windows version for a couple things. One is UI updates. So if you've used Windows in the past, you have trays for your panels and stuff. And previously, if you wanted to change what's in your tray, you'd have to go in here and check things and uncheck things. But now it's super easy because you just right click anywhere in your tray, and then you can go ahead and add panels or remove panels right from there. So that makes a lot more sense to me anyways. I think this is going to be a lot easier for people to configure their workspaces. And then also you can just straight up drag these out to a new temporary tray too. So this is helpful for if you just temporarily want to, have extra information over here, but suppose I want to have, a couple, like organizational aspects, my outliner and my tags over here. I can make this a tray, which will make it a permanent tray in my window. So when I go down to window, you can see the trays in there. And then I can also rename it from here as well. So just a couple extra organization. Look at that. Type in on the stream. But yeah, so helpful if you're, dealing with a bunch of different panels, and just gives you more options and flexibility when you're working with trays. For now, I'll actually just drop these old boys over here and delete this. But anyways, yeah, so I have a point cloud here of this church, and I'm going to show some of the updates to Scan Essentials, which is also exclusive to Windows. So Windows it is. Let's see, first I'll open up this point cloud manager and flip on the old clipping box here. So there's a couple new things to Scan Essentials. One, the first thing is, if you've used Scan Essentials in the past, you know that the visibility information, meaning like, let's see, bring this up again, like the opacity, the points, these different types of coloring and stuff were not associated with scenes. So you couldn't, like, you have to like change it every scene, every time you change your scene. But now it's already in there. So that's helpful for sure. Actually, I'm gonna move this boy up to the corner. You know, you can see what is this called? The density or something? Color coded intensity. I don't really know too much about scans, but I know that this, you know, looks cool. One other update to Scan Essentials, what I think is really cool, is creating a mesh, creating a geometrical mesh from your point cloud data. So previously there was the ability to create a ground plane, like a ground mesh from the scan, but now you can create a mesh from any geometry. So in this case, I have this, you know, this door that just right now exists as 3D points in the point cloud, right? So I can inference off that. I can, you know, model off it if I want, but if I just want to straight up generate it, hey, let the computer do the work for you, right? You can identify, you can either make a selection or you can identify any piece of geometry. One sec here. That will, that you can use for creating a mesh out of. So let's give it a shot. As you can see here, I said selection or from face. So I've got my little face here, and start it. I don't really know what millimeters, how many millimeters this is tall, but we'll give it a shot at 200.
You all better make fun of him like you do for me for not knowing millimeters.
I was going to shout out Justin earlier for mentioning what the site dimensions were in feet and in meters. I'm not going to really say either for the height of this door, but you can infer for yourself, I suppose. And I'll just hit create mesh here, and I have this geometry selected. So basically it projects right in an orthogonal view. So I did like go into parallel projection in order to trace this and make sure it outlined the shape of the door. But yeah, so that's how that works as this generates. But yeah, I feel like you know, reality capture with scanning has been become a lot more popular in recent times, and it's nice to be able to have some more tools in SketchUp to work with that information.
Yeah.
So now if I turn off the point cloud, you can see, hey, something was generated. It's pretty good.
It sure did.
Although not very high, maybe 200 millimeters was not the correct size to do. So I could, you know, undo this and change this to a different size, but you can also add detail, which, you know, the point cloud still is in there, right? So I already have this this mesh, so I can just continue to add detail as you could in the ground mesh option. But using, so I have the mesh and I'm saying, like, reference back to the point cloud and basically make twice as many. It's half the size of the cell, so it adds like 4 more polys per
Subdivide.
Yeah, subdivide, exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
So it could take a little longer. So yeah, a little more accurate to the cloud here, and I can also soften and smooth this. Is this going to work here? Or do I have to go inside?
Nice.
There we go.
Just to generate some geometry from the point cloud. So that's helpful. One thing that is new as well is project texture. So actually, I'll just go ahead and hide this guy. So you can, you know, obviously model from the point cloud if you want. So if I just have this kind of simple geometry and I don't want to do a mesh from it, like suppose I want to share this model with somebody who doesn't have access to the point cloud, or just create some, straight up SketchUp geometry with information from the cloud. You can project RGB information from that point cloud onto your geometry, which is nice, which is
So cool.
this all the way on the end. Project point cloud as texture. So I'll click that. And then, a couple different options based on the detail of your mesh and how there's some tooltip information on getting better results. But I'll just go ahead and say create texture. So this is
exciting moment of truth.
I know.
You can't even see the point cloud, so it's going to be like magic, just coming out of nowhere as it projects. But
Nathan on LinkedIn said, getting Scan Essentials for iPhone Pro would be great. When Scan Essentials is Windows-based, some people might not want to go buy an iPad Pro. I think.
Oh, are you talking about Scan to Design?
Yeah, I think that's.
So this is a little bit different because Scan to Design creates like a mesh output or like geometrical output. Scan Essentials is literally referencing a point cloud of information. So like these are visual representations of literally individual points that was shot by a point, like a 3D laser scanner. So each of these has, color information, has position information, and Scan Essentials is the way to import those. But yeah, I agree. That's a common request from people, is to have scanning on using the LiDAR sensor for iPhones. But yeah, let's go back to this and see what the results are from the projection. So yeah, this is just straight up SketchUp geometry. Like if I let's see, sample this. I know the shortcut on Windows. Here, let me get to it. I'm used to the old Mac keyboard. Anyway, so this is just a regular SketchUp material. So you can export this, share it on Trimble Connect, however you want. And people don't need access to the point cloud to have access to the context information from your point cloud scan, which is pretty cool. And while I'm in here too, in the materials, I'll show that another update that is exclusive to Windows, which I'm showing the Windows stuff today, is the option in the material browser here to change the display of this upper thumbnail. So before, if your material had PBR properties, right? If it had any of these, I guess I can't see it because it's anyway, but you know what it is. A PBR material has other maps for, metalness, roughness, ambient occlusion, and normal. Yep, that's exactly right. But anyways, before that, they could only be displayed in this window as a cube icon, which sometimes is a little bit hard to see what's going on in here, right? This is, I'm copying this example from Justin Geiss's What's New video, but for the roofing, for example, it's kind of hard to tell what this is. But now you can change this to a flat thumbnail, and so you can always see the traditional 2D swatch of that material. So you can maybe get a closer look at the details of it without having to look at the cube, and you can switch back and forth between them, whichever you choose to see. So just another Windows exclusive update.
And real quick, Matt, we did have a question going back to scan.
Yeah.
Rather than creating by face, can you create by a section of the point cloud?
A section of the point
mesh.
Cloud. Yeah. So you could, let's see, how would I do that?
When you go into generate, you have the option of selection or from face.
Yes, selection. So I think I can maybe just, or do I have to hit?
I think you have to do the cutting box first. Yeah.
I have not tested this, so let's give it a shot.
Well, the time to do that is live. It's like a new extension. You just jump in. Don't try stuff. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the demo is going good, you got to just roll the dice, risk it all.
That's right. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. So it does. I think. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So I just turn this off. And again, probably you'd want to change the cell size to get the level of detail you're looking for. But and this is just any other SketchUp, geometry. So you can manipulate this to, we have some points I got shot in the back here. So you could manipulate that with regular, SketchUp geometry, manipulation tools if you so choose. But yeah, so we talked about the information being saved between scenes. And one thing that I want to mention, of course, is where that information is saved. So it's actually in environment settings. So if you do have scenes that you're saving point cloud visibility information, from this, as you can see, if I switch between these, this stuff changes. Yeah, you want to make sure that your environment settings are checked on so that when you do update that scene, that information is saved to your scene. So here I have a little bit different information saved, and you might be thinking, information saved to scenes, does that mean it would also be shown in the scenes in layout? And the answer is yes, it is. So over here in layout, I have these SketchUp viewports as I pop over to this SketchUp model panel. And actually, let me just go ahead and drag the SketchUp model panel out here. Look at that. It works the same way as in SketchUp. So I can make a new tray. I already have a model tray. Look at this. Somebody was thinking ahead. So yeah, if I look over in my SketchUp model tray here that I just made, you can see this is this scene, right? And the point cloud visibility information is saved. Same here. This is the project texture scene, but no point cloud is visible. And same here, arch detail. Let me update the model reference here as well. But yeah, so the scene information for Scan Essentials is saved and translates through to SketchUp, so that's cool. And yeah, I wanted to mention the layout UI looking very similar to SketchUp, so that transition's easier, and you can add panels and remove them from your trays very similarly, or exactly similarly, as you do in SketchUp now in Windows. So very clean looking layout user interface here on Windows. And I think that wraps it up for me. If anybody has questions, I can answer them.
Well, now that you're so practiced with your portion of the demonstration, Questus on YouTube says, a little late to the party. Can Matt take it from the top? And yeah, Matt, what do you think? You want to start over? No, this.
I don't know if everybody else would enjoy that, but you can definitely skip backwards or watch the recording after it's done, and you can watch it as many times as you like.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, you should go back and watch it as many times as you can, because you'll notice, if you look closely, that Matt has been updating his job title throughout the live stream. And so scrub through and see what crazy things he's been coming up with. But that is a little Easter egg. It's fun. But yeah, let's hop over to Aaron.
Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this all up with a little bit of layout time. So one thing I'm not going to show, because it's not that exciting, is we do have an update to how DWGs get imported. So one of the issues in the past was, of course, textures, or is that what they call them? Textures? Or
hatches?
Hatches. There we go. Hatches wouldn't come in, but there's a change to the way that DWGs import. And it is with breaks hatches down and actually makes them into edges. So very
and if
cool.
if you have so this is for the SketchUp DWG import. If you have hatches, solid hatches, it would import those as a closed face. So you can you don't have to close the faces up in order to add hatches to those. So yeah, DWG, whole lot of DWG import and export stuff that we're not going to get into on the stream. But yeah, definitely check out the release notes for the full breakdown of all those updates, because there's a whole bunch. If you work with DWG, you're going to be happy about.
That's right. Yeah, the last thing I want to touch on is drawing tools in layout. So this isn't nothing's imported from SketchUp. This is straight tools inside of layout. And I commented before on the release video that this took me back. This made me feel like when I was drafting, detailed drafting back in Layout 11. Super simple tools like you'd expect. But right here, I have 2 with drop downs, fillet and chamfer, and then also trim and extend. And they're super simple. So trim, I just click on an end, it goes away. Trim, goes away. So this is super easy way to clean up your model. Whoops, I clicked the wrong one there. Trim, trim. Fortunately, undo and redo works too. And then extend, same thing. Go to extend, extend this, extend this, extend this. It's just a click. It's very nice, very easy way to do it. And then fillet and chamfer work a little bit different because I do actually have a dimension here. So I'm gonna do like a 1/2 inch. Whoops, I think I put a 1/2 foot. Nope, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch radius between these two, these two, these two, and these two.
Look
Yeah,
at
that's
that
nice.
beauty.
And I can come back and change it too. So if I want to go a little bit tighter, say 1/4 inch, it'll adjust that last one to a 1/4 inch, and I could again come in here and put that one back out. Chamfer, very similar. Grab this one, grab this one. It's currently doing a 0 chamfer. Let's do a 1/2 inch.
Right.
Beauty. Yeah, I mean,
Sweet.
sometimes when stuff works too easy and too good, the demo's boring.
Simple
Like, wow.
yet profound.
Yeah. So great, amazing tools. A wonderful way to clean up your models, your line work, that sort of thing. This is not changing a SketchUp model. This is line work inside of Layout. So, can you weld?
Can you weld?
No. That's what glue does. I mean, I do have the ability to glue edges together, but no, I can't. There's not a weld in Layout.
But yeah, essentially the same, right? Because you can select
glue
multiple
works
things
very
and glue
much.
them
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah, so I could grab.
Oh yeah,
This is
nice.
a thing rather than multiple. Oh, I guess I had 2 because there's breaks. So yeah. All right. I think that brings us to the end, folks. That is what we were hoping to show you guys for 2026. We'll of course be making additional videos on these features, diving deep into, all the options, the clicks that we could do and haven't done yet.
Which you can watch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@SketchUp.
That's right. But yeah, love that. We will, like Justin said, we'll get the release model up on 3D Warehouse. So you guys should be able to get that. And we won't be here next week.
Yeah.
The entire team is traveling, do a little filming, but we will be back here 2 weeks from today, noon Mountain Time, to do something different.
That's right. Yeah, we're getting close to Halloween time, so you could probably expect something themed or not. Who knows?
Or not.
We'll let you know on the forums, forums.sketchup.com.
That's right.
I'm
an eye
here
out
for all the plugs.
That's right.
Yep.
Plug guy.
The plug guy.
All right.
Sweet.
Well, hey, with that, I think we can call this.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Go get 2026. Let us know what you think on the forums and come back in 2 weeks.
See
See you, everybody.
Take it easy.
Thank you.